Ndị ọma na-ege ntị, ekene m unu. Anyị abịakwa ọzọ ka anyị si wee kwakọ maka na asị na nkụ dị na mba na-enyekwele na mba nri. Nke bụ asụsụ nke ndị be anyị, nke bụ asụsụ Igbo ka anyị ji aga. Asụsụ Igbo onunwe anyị ji aga, unu eluzikwa na nsị nọ nke ndị Anambra, mana Igbo rili nne. Ekene dị Chukwu na mmụ akwụkwọ nọ na mụ na fa nọ tata enwere ndị Imo steeti, so ekwesịrị m ịnụ asụsụ ndị Imo steeti nke taa na-enwe a, maka na asụsụ niile anyị ji aga bụ nke ndị Nteje-Abogu na Anambra steeti in Oyi Local Government Area. Dịka anyị si wee mara na asụsụ Igbo erike, mana ka o si na-ede na nke ọbụla anyị si ebe na anyị na-anụ ya, anyị na-aghọtakwu. Ife anyị ji wee bịa maka ya dịka anyị si ekwu taa na-enwe bụ maka citations and quotations. Citations and quotations. Aka m ya ewepụta time kọọ maka ya, mana ebe m ji wee kwuo maka citations and quotations maka na mma ọkwa ya ajụ ajụ, maka na mma na-ebe mmụ akwụkwọ ụfọdụ na-enwe nsogbu citations and quotations. Ebe ụfọdụ mmụ akwụkwọ copy and paste ya bụ a na-ekwu maka ya, plagiarism ahụ a na-ekwu maka ya, ebe nwe ka o si ọ ji agbado mmụ akwụkwọ. Ya bụ na ife ntị ka m kwuo tata, look at the sample here. Ada ama ọ bụrụ na ị chọọ ikwuotu ma ọ bụrụ na ị chọọ use APA style, ị chọọ ikwuotu ihe ede afọ onye ahụ na ka esi wede ya sị na surname of the author. Ụdị nwa mbụ Ọkafọ is my surname. Ife izi ihe ede ma ị chọọ ikwuotu ife m kwuru Ọkafọ then comma, kedu ihe ndele ya bụ akwụkwọ then comma, and then page egolu wee na-achọ ikwuotu maka ya. Ị na-enye example ifu ka ndị onye anụ example edere ebe. Every research is built on results of other research projects. The thoughts of other authors must be indicated clearly and accurately. Quote only if you think that the original phrase is absolutely necessary for a proper understanding of the quoted author. Quotations are like salt in a soup. Ndị be anyị si na inu bụ mmanụ ndị Igbo ji eli okwu. All quotations must always be in quotation marks, quoting according to the following manner. For example, afọ onye dere akwụkwọ ahụ, arọ edere ya bụ akwụkwọ, na peji ahụ egolu wee na-ekwu otu wee na site. Ka nkwụkwọ ọzọ, quotation bụ na egosiri ife mmadụ wee chọọ ka itinye na onye ahụ ị na-achọ ịgba ọsọ na nke a na-akpọ plagiarism. You're just trying to avoid plagiarism here by quoting what belongs to the owner. Then imagine that you have given a direct quotation, then you are expected after quotation to put the surname of the person, then comma, the year the book was published, then comma, and then the page, that is P, full stop, and then the particular page. Look at example. War is merely the continuation of politics by all means. War is merely the continuation of politics by all means. Kedu ife apụta? Ife anụ ị na-ahịa invited comma open and close, onye ka ekwu otulu ebe a, nwoke a na-akpọ Clausewitz. Ha bụ asụsụ ndị ọchakwa na mamụrụ ma mkpọtakwala ya. Clausewitz, ide comma. Kedu ihe ọ publishiri akwụ ya na 1932, ide comma. Kedu peji ịgụrụ wee na-ekwu ife anụnwa wee na-ekwu otu ebe isi wee nweta this particular direct quotation? Page ahụ abụrụ gịnị? 37, page 37. Ama m na ghọta ife anyị na-akọ. Ka m wee nye na ịma ngozi idere akwụkwọ, mmadụ wee chọọ ikwu otu akwụkwọ idere. Your surname is Ngozi, right? Onye anwa ya ede Ngozi, comma, page publish akwụkwọ anwa, comma, and sorry, year publish akwụkwọ anwa, comma, and then the page onye anwa ebe ọ capital page ga nwee capital number of that page maka pages erike mana o nwere particular place okwu otu Ụwando Moses idere akwụkwọ your surname is Ụwando, right? Mmadụ wee chọọ ikwu otu gị the direct quotation ga anwe ife anwụ ikwulu onye anwe del ife onye del ọbịa omege nọde Ụwando because that is your surname comma then the year he publish akwụkwọ anwụ that would followed by getting comma and then the page also wee weta ife anwụ idel ife a ka ihe etinye inside your work. Elozokwana na citations and quotations are different from reference. Maka na ị gaa na reference page, eluzia na reference page ka ife ihe eme. Ife ihe eme na reference page bụ gịnị? N'ihi ede ndị publish ya bụ akwụkwọ. Mgbe a publish ya bụ akwụkwọ, the title, the topic of that particular akwụkwọ. Mana ka I concentrate go na citations and quotations. If you use more than 2 words of an author in the same order, you must quote those words by using quotation marks. For example, according to Clause Which, war is just the continuation of politics. You see? Ife anụnwa bụ nsogbu ụfọdụ ụmụ akwụkwọ na-enwe. Kedu ife o ji bụrụ nsogbu? Ụfọdụ ụmụ akwụkwọ nwere ike ịma na anyị ekwugo maka plagiarism, where the different types of plagiarism and patch. Onwe nke a na-akpọ nke apachara apach ịpụta iwelu some part of ife onye anwa dere tinye debe arụ a na-eme ka ị mara na mgbe ọbụla ikwu otu ife mmadụ kwuo a kind of the same word onye anwa yuzu ka iyuzu na pepa gị ị nwere ana okwu anwa dị ugboro ịtọ ebugolu plagiarism ikwesị ikwu otu onye anwa example bụ ife anya according to this same man we are talking about continuation of politics. This word, the continuation, D is on a page here, continuation on a page here, of on a page here, politics on a page here. Therefore, and you are now trying to use the continuation of politics. How many words? 1, 2, 3, 4. The same word, the same way the same man put it in his book. Therefore, you're supposed to put inverted comma, open and close, and quote the person. I repeat, if you use more than 2 words of an author, more than 2 words, ọ bụ sọsọ 2 words, okay, okwu na-abụ nsogbu adịrọ. Mana ọ bụrụ another 3, 4, 5, then you have to put inverted comma, open and close. If you use more than 2 words of an author in the same order, you must quote those words by using quotation marks. Yes, in order to avoid plagiarism. Then again, if there are 2 or more authors, use the surname of the 2 authors, year of publication, and the page. Okay, now, nakwa anya n'ebe anụnwa. Ọ dị mmadụ ebu adela akwụkwọ, ofu akwụkwọ. Imagine na akwụkwọ anụnwa nji, na ọ bụ mmadụ ebu adela. So, ịbịa na quotation, there are 2 surnames. Ọ bụrụ na Ngozi, ọ bụrụ na Moses Ụwando dere ofu akwụkwọ. Therefore, you have to write your surname is Ngozi, Ngozi and Ụwando, comma. I hope you guys are getting the point. Ngozi and Ụwando, comma. Then it here the year for publish, the year they published the book. And then the page you are talking about. So when there are 2 authors or 3 authors, 2 authors that wrote one book, then there are 2 surnames must be in your quotation, must be in your citation, then comma, and then the year, and then comma, and then the page. Another point we're supposed to know, short quotations. Like the example above, should be, if you have a short quotation, it should be in a part of what you are writing. For example, let's go back here. Here we see, according to plus with war is just the continuation of politics. Continuation of politics. The continuation of politics, you should put it in a normal double space, which you have been using. But then, imagine in a situation that it is like this. Look at, see inverted comma, open and close. This is a quotation, direct quotation from someone's work. You see that is more than 3 lines. It's more than 3 lines. Therefore, you should create a separate space for it in your paper. I hope you guys are getting the point. Because the quotations, once you are quoting somebody, like the example above, should be embedded in the surrounding sentences of the paragraph. Longer quotations, more than 3 lines, requires a separate paragraph for the whole quotation. Nteje-Abogu said that education gives you the means. Nteje-Abogu said education gives you the means. You see, education gives you the means. You can put it in the normal writing, put inverted comma, open and close. But if it is more than 3 lines and there are more sentences, you should create a separate line for that. It should not be inside the normal double space. It should be a single space. So, example is here. The essence of love and compassion is understanding. The ability to recognize the physical, material, and psychological sufferings of others. To put ourselves inside the skin of the other. We go inside their body, feelings, and mental formations, and witness of ourselves, their suffering. Shallow observation as an understanding, as an outsider, is not enough to see their suffering. We must become one with the object of our observation. When we are in contact with another's suffering, a feeling of compassion is born in us. This is from Han. This is a very long quotation. This long quotation requires a single space in your paper. Normal space in your paper using APA style is what? Double spacing. But then when you have a quotation more than 3 lines, you must create a single line space in which you now allow the quotation to be there alone because it is more than 3 lines. If it is 1 line quotation, no problem. If it is 2 lines, no problem. If there are 3 lines, no problem. But the point is that if there are 4 lines, are you getting the point? From 4 up, 4, 5, 6, just like the line you see here, they are longer quotations. You must create a separate line for it. It must be on its own. Okwu ọbụla anyị na-ekwu nke mmadụ kwuru wee dị na your research paper. Ọ bụrakwa na okwu ahụ akarịgo line 3, ị kwesịrị create a single line space separately for that quotation. O nwere ife nye na ya nọ. And then put inverted comma, open and close, depending on the format of your university. Okay, now, another thing very important. There's another thing that's very important here. Can you see the quotation there? Han, comma, 2004, comma. Do you see something there? 2P, 2 P's, PP, meaning pages, pages, page, which means there are more than what? Exactly. So whenever you are quoting and you are saying, you are trying to quote longer quotations, and then you are going to put where you got the information is not only in one page, it is from 2 pages. It means that you have to put PP point and then 81 until 82. 81 to 82. I hope you are getting my point. Remember previous quotations. Look at previous quotation. Plus which, comma, 1932, comma, page 37, because it's one page, right? That is where you got your information. Then, but when you come over here, now you see this man, Han, I got the paper from him. I got this quotation from him, comma. The year published the paper, 2004, comma. But then because this write-up, this particular quotation here, I got it from page 82 and page 81. It means that I should put PP, meaning 2 pages, not just only one. I am stopping here to entertain any of your quotations. Any of your questions. I would like, because this is the main place that most students are battling with. So please, any question concerning this? Any question concerning this, because it's very, very important.
Firstly, I will say thank you for the wonderful teaching. And my question here is during citation, if you are citing and what you are citing is in 3 pages, like you likely say that if you are citing something that is in 2 pages, you have to write PP. If it's in 3 pages, do we have to write 3P or still 2P?
That's a very nice question. So ajụjụ a wee bụrụ, ọ bụrụ na ebe enwetara ife a na-ekwu otu na-enwetara na 3 pages, anyị ede PPP point the 3 pages. For me, according to APS style, upper style, no. Just PP is enough. Because if up have pages, according to their own format. So PP is enough. Either 1 page or 2 pages and above. That's what it means. This is a very nice question. Thank you for that. Ajụjụ gị nwa magburu onwe ya. Ọ bụrụ na ị wetara ife ị na-achọ ikwu otu na 3 pages of an author, should that be PPP? No, it should be PP. Because it's either you have gotten it from 1 page, either you wetara na a full page, or you wetara na 2 pages and above. So if ekwesịghị idebe that PP. Thank you very much. This is a very, very, very critical and then nice question. Okay, any other question? Thank you, Mr. Owando, for that wonderful question. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for your calm presentation. I want to ask, based on the quotation, the example you talk about, what is made it the continuation of politics by the means.
By all means, yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, if I want to use those words, or if I change war into conflict, merely I change into another war, continuation I change into another war, politics into another war, can I still use the author name?
Yes. Very nice. Thank you very much. This is a very wonderful question. The point is that academic writing would like to see that you read books. That is why even this an academic writing and ordinary writing. That is why it's very important to distinguish academic writing and ordinary form of writings. Academic writing is expected to see that you actually did a thorough research. You read some books. So, when you must have paraphrased this word is merely the continuation of politics by all means. You just paraphrased it, but then to make your work more scholarly and more academic, you have to same put the same thing. So it's either you paraphrased it or you just gave a direct quotation and still put where you got it. But because you are a very intelligent student, but because you are a smart student, you were able to use your own word. But then you still have to put the quotation. That's what makes it academic. Ka anyị na-ekwukwe n'Igbo, ụdị ọbụla ọ sọkwa anya bụrụ isi wee denyere ife mmadụ dere na academic, ị kwesịrị itinye quotation, ị kwesịrị itinye citation. Ọnya bụ ife kpata o ji wee bụrụ academic work. Ụdị ọbụla ọ sọkwa, ụdị smartness ọbụla ọ sọ gede, maka na academic work is just like about argumentation. It's about proving the fact that you can look at all books, journals, articles, and you're able to synthesize it, put it in one place. Ife eji wee kpọọ onye academic because ka ndị ọcha nyere anyị si wee gosikwa anyị onwere ife ọzọ anyị na-ekwu ebe na-abụrụ ife ndị ọcha nye, and ife eji wee kpọọ onye academic abụọ research methodology bụ no etu usoro. Don't forget, we are doing what they want us to do and the way they want it to be done. Anyị na-eme ife ndị ọcha si na eke ga-esi mee ya na eke esi eme ya, ọ bụrụ ka o si sọ m. Ya bụ na ọ bụrụ na ị chọọ ikwu otu mmadụ, ọ bụ na ideyelụrụ ife mmadụ de, kaba arụ ka ị dịkwa chọọ na akwụkwọ abụ egolo n'itinyere ya ebe abụ na akwụkwọ dị ma nnọọ na-egolo ya dee na onye anwa dere akwụkwọ anwa sọ nemie mbọsị ya dere akwụkwọ anwa na peji ebe anwa ego wee deyara ya. Ọ dị very, very important. Thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you, my distinguished professor, for this educative and very wonderful presentation. My name still remains Mr. Ngozi Emmanuel. I'm from Abia State of Nigeria.
A
student of Siam University. Biko ụmụnne m ndị nọ na YouTube na abụ m onye Ngwa from Abia State, onye obi Ngwa. So ndị mmadụ ndị ga-enu ihe na maazị nuo karam nọ nka. My dear professor, I have a simple question about this citation and quotation. In a case whereby you want to quote a comment made by someone, maybe through social media, or someone that is giving speech that is not on article or anywhere in a paper, but you want to quote what the person said on your paper or your research, how will you be able to present the quote or the quotation?
Wow, that is a wonderful question. But first of all, academically, in my own view, it is not recognized if Onyanwaku because no, is not academically recognized, in my own view. Because somebody says something, like everybody can say anything. Even all these academic stuff and books we're writing, remember that most people are just repeating what others have written. And then eventually you put your own suggestion. So coming to a situation where somebody said something and you want to quote the person, how would you do that? Actually, in following APA style, there are places you still quote what the person said. You say no name. In parentheses, that place you're supposed to put citation. Say no name, no date. Yes. So now them back. Kaimala that now, if academic research, if whatever that is not yours, don't claim it. That is the point. That is what they call academic honesty and academic dishonesty. Academic humility. Academic honesty bụ na ị na-ekwu eziokwu You are saying the truth. The words you are using are not yours. Na ife anụnwa anyị na-ekwu kịta na ọ bụrụ nga ikwuru ya, you have to give credit to the owner. But then in a situation where the owner is not seen, if you want to be honest, you can put in parentheses, no name, no date. But if it is in the website, you are expected to copy the link. You call it the link, right? What do you call that? It's a link. You copy the link and put it there, but then mention no name, no date. Just to make your work authentic, because you are being honest that these words, okwu anune capital, is not yours. But because the owner is not there, but because the owner cannot be found, you are very honest enough to dictate and then put it that there's no name, there's no date. However, when you copy the link, you're supposed to put that the date you copied that particular link, because you might copy it today and tomorrow you go there, you're not seeing the link is no longer there. So that's why it's very important that when you copy the link, you yourself, you know the date you copied the link. What is today's date? Today's date is 27, right? Yes, I copied the link from today's date, and that is 27 July 2024. That is the day I copied this link. But then, that particular statement, a wonderful expression I saw, has no name, has no date written on it. But the date I copied it is the one I have put there. Excuse me. So that is the way it is done. It should be done in order to demonstrate your academic honesty. I don't know if I answered your question, Mr. Ngozi.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being so sagacious.
Ajaga, iwe ike na-asụkwala anyị Imo steeti. Maka na dịka nsi wee kwu na Igbo na-eyuzu ebe Igbo ndị Nteje-Abogu. Nteje-Abogu is in Oyi Local Government Area. Oyi Local Government Area is in Anambra State. Anambra State is in Nigeria. And you know Anambra State is one of the states in Igbo land. So, I've been very happy today. Taa na-enwe a, obi tọrọ m ụtọ nke mara mma nke ukwuu. Na-enwere ndị Imo steeti na-around. Ka unu sụọla anyị Imo steeti, ọ nwere nke nna n'otu ahụ n'ezi. Otu ahụ ezi. N'aja nke unu kọwa ka eju ajụ ị na-ekwukwe na Imo steeti maka ndị ikwe n'English ikwukwe n'Imo steeti maka ndị Imo steeti. Imo State, Abia State. I think you are from Abia State.
Yes, sir.
Wando, you are from where?
Imo State.
Imo State, correct. Okay. Anyị zụrụ ezu tata. Imo State and Abia State. Okay. Unu bụ ndị otu ahụ n'ezi, right?
Mba,
Otu ahụ ezi.
dekọta sign. Okay, thank you la nkọwashi nyere anyị. So, because ahụna some quotes, actually the article or anything online, ya wụrụ that actually nye any quotes quoted by Kofi Annan. The person will give the quotes and write Kofi Annan 2015. Are they correct? Are they correct?
Etu anyị nọ na klaasị kịta ọ dịrọ correct. Ife dị bụ correct bụ gịnị? Surname only. Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan, I think the surname of that particular person is what is required. Kofi, if the surname is Kofi, then it should be Kofi, comma, and then the year and the page. Then if it's Annan is the surname, then it should be Annan, comma, the year and the page. However, some people normally, they also respect figures that are very prominent. They try to put the entire name there. But the reason why inside your work, you have to limit it with surname only is because in the reference, you have the full information of the book. Inside their bibliography, bibliography, references, you will not have the entire full name surname, middle name, everything about that particular book is in your reference. Reference is the one that is put in the last page of your academic writing. So there is no need inside your work putting the full name of the person. It sounds like tautology or like making the entire work boring. No need for that. Because the essence of writing only the surname, the year, and the page is to make it, to shorten the entire work. Imagine a situation, my name is Emmanuel Chukwumerijam Nweke Okafor. So can you now write Emmanuel Chukwumerijam Nweke Okafor inside your main work? No. It could be could be boring. So that is why only the surname is required. If the surname is two names, okay, it's okay, but only the surname is required. So that if the person is interested in trying to go and read the entire work, he will now go to the reference to know the particular one you're talking about. Igbo ndị ọma na-ege ntị, ọkwa ofu akụkọ a ka anyị nọ na ya. Ajụjụ wee bụrụ na o nwere akwụkwọ dịka o si wee kọ, na o nwere akwụkwọ ọfụlụ ede Kofi Annan dee the year, dee the page, o wee na-ajụ wee sị ọ dị mkpa na ya arapụ sọsọ nke a bụ osokwu n'ife iwu kwuru. Wee sị mba, na according to APS style nke anyị na-use, na-ekwesịrị ka ọ bụrụ only the surname. Maka gịnị? Na ọ bụrụ na ị na-ekwu otu mmadụ na akwụkwọ idelu na akwụkwọ ị na-ede, na enidoro ide afọ onye anwa niile, enidoro ide afọ middle name of the person, enidoro may include his English name or his religious name, the entire name. Like for example, afa mbụ Emmanuel Chukwumerijam Nweke Okafor. Ị nidiri ịbịa n'ebe akwụkwọ gị dị na citation gị dee Emmanuel Chukwumerijam Nweke Okafor. Okafor is enough as my surname. Mana ọ bụzialụ na ịchọ ka onye nwe na-agụzi akwụkwọ ahụ chọzie ka ọ malụ all the information about that person you quote, or gịnị, organa reference, organa reference page, organa bibliography, wee nwee ike inwetazi the entire information. Malụ ma Emmanuel Nweke Okafor ma Emmanuel Chukwumerijam Nweke Okafor, ebe a ka ọ ya enwetazi the entire information. Ebe a ka ọ ya afụ the topic, the title of the book. Ebe a ka ọ ya afụ ya. Ọ bụrụ na journal, ọ malụ the volume, which particular volume. Ebe a information niile gbasalụ citation and quotation na-adị na reference, mana abịa n'ime nke ahụ eji aka bụ n'ime akwụkwọ gị, ị kwesịrị itinye fancha niile maka na ọ ya dị very boring. And mee paper gị niile, imagine if the entire paper you are writing all the full names of the authors. I don't think even yourself you will like it. Onye ka o ji dị mkpa that in the APA style limits us from using so many names other than surname, the year of the publication, and the page. Kawalia.
Thank you. In a situation where I am, my surname is Ngozi, and there are other people who answers Ngozi that wrote an article, how will I differentiate my own Ngozi?
Wonderful question. Ajụjụ ya wee bụrụ na surname ya bụ Ngozi, mana ọ nwekwa ndị ọzọ na-aza Ngozi. Kedụzi ka e esi ma Ngozi nke a na-egozi? Ka e esi ma Ngozi nke ọ bịa ka a na-ekwu? First of all, reference. That is why you just have to cite only the surname, the year, and the page. Because in the reference, we'll be able to know which particular Ngozi. The reference will have the entire information about which Ngozi. And then nwere ike ọ bụrụ na Ngozi nwekwara ike Ngozi na-aba anụnwa dekwara akwụkwọ anwa the same year. Just like Emma Ngozi dere akwụkwọ 2020. Another Florence Ngozi bere akwụkwọ 2020. Okay, even at your citation, you are still limited to quoting only Ngozi as surname. Kata ma ị bịazịa na reference. Na reference a ka anyị amazi ma ọ Florence Ngozi ọ bụ Emma Ngozi. Na reference a ka anyị ama which particular book, kedu mgbe edere ya, kedu mgbe a publish ya. Very, very important. Ajụjụ amaka. Nya bụ na ọ bụrụ na ị na-ede ife, inside ife ị na-ede, iwu ji gị dịka APS styles wee gwa anyị na ife ị ede bụ your surname only and then comma, then the year of publication, comma, and the page. Enwere ike na reference, onye dịzi confused about which Ngozi will now find out that the particular Ngozi is Emmanuel Ngozi and not Florence Ngozi. Water. That is why reference is very important. Reference is at the last part of the paper. Bibliography is at the last part of the paper. Mana inside your work, you don't need to complicate it and make it boring by writing the full names or English names or traditional names or whatever. Just limit it to surname only. Then the reference will now accommodate entire information about the author. Imagine in a situation, Emma Ngozi published books. In the same year, he published 2 books. Then, that is where you now see Ngozi A, Ngozi B. In that your reference, you now identify the 2 books with A and B. So that whichever one you are quoting, we will know that at this juncture, you are quoting Emma Ngozi book A, which he published in 2022. Then if you are quoting another book, Emma Ngozi B, which he published in 2022, the same person. I'm a Modaba. You will like George. Jidekwa microphone. Kedi yadi. Adekwa on. Abana the green, man the on. Okay.
Esi na-ekwu na on my Google account, ọ na-awụ if somebody ha na-send a message that somebody cited my article, Ngozi Emmanuel. So, but the article, I didn't write any article, but I was thinking maybe another Ngozi Emmanuel, but they think I am the one. And they always send me a message that somebody quoted my article.
But then how can they send you a message if your email is not in the article?
I don't know, they always send me that.
Yeah, because maybe one of the things you have written, because I know you normally write a lot of things, maybe not one of the things you have written, they are
somebody's work. Copy somebody or somebody.
Can you give a microphone? Let me get it.
I think he copied something somewhere, maybe another person's project work. So maybe mistakenly, the day he copied it, his email, he copied through his email. Then they added his name. They're thinking that he is the one. It has happened to somebody before. Yeah, yeah. It has. Maybe while you are doing project, you copied something somewhere. Maybe somebody's project. Then your email address entered there. That's why you are receiving it from the person, but you are not the person. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay, so that because sometimes there are your email in academic article, you're supposed to provide your information. So if they are sending you that kind of message, or maybe the same person submitted an email that resembled your email and made a mistake, and it was your email that went through. They are sending you as if you are the person. If you're observant, even in the Nigerian banking, sometimes I keep getting emails. And then when I look at it, there was a day I got an email from Nigerian bank, 2 million naira on my account. I was so happy. 2 million naira. So maybe Holy Ghost, the Lord has done it again. Yeah, God has blessed me with 2 million naira in my account. Unfortunately, I looked at it, I found that it said Emmanuel Chukwunonso Okafo. But my name is Emmanuel Nweke Okafo. So, but the person that submitted the email maybe submitted the email that resembled my own, and they saw my, I don't know how they do, I'm not good in IT. But the point is that, oh my God, I regretted it. How I wish the Holy Spirit would make it real, so that I would just enjoy my 2 million naira. I never put any 2 million naira. And the bank is sending me debit alert. Is it credit alert? Credit alert of 2 million naira. And I was so happy. All of a sudden, I just looked at, oh, then I started on another thought. I just, okay, can negoda anya mama ego a bụkwa ego m. When I say anya bụ na the name there is Emmanuel Chukwunonso Okafo. Oh my God. Why not we change it to Emmanuel Nweke Okafo, so that I enjoy my 2 million naira? So it happens sometimes in academic writing too. Somebody might submit the same name like you, might submit the email, but then what they copied may have been your own email, and they sent it to you. Or it might be what Pastor just said. Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions, please? Another question from
Okay.
we have another question from Dr. Darren.
Based on modern citations. So, because if 2 or 3 or more than 3 people carried out the research and you want to cite them or quote them in your papers, so most often we do use maybe Ima, Shukudi, or Ijoma. So instead of writing, because based on academic citation, the first person is one that do most of the work, while the other ones are just supporting. So we do write like the first author on the list and just use ELTA to represent the others. But in modern research, I read that they say that you should make it like if you are citing that particular thing for the first time, you should include all their names. So in the course of the research, if you want to cite them in another section in that particular writing of yours, you can now use ELTA. So they believe that if you do it like first time, your sentence, like you are giving glory to one person. But if you put the whole name one time and second time to cite them again, you just use the first name and the ELTA. So I wanted to develop to explain more on this.
Okay, the question is, first of all, if one author, if you are quoting one author, you just write his surname, the year, and the page. If you are quoting 2 authors, you just write their 2 surnames, the year, and the page. Then he's not saying, if you are quoting 3 authors, what are you going to write? Yes, some people tried to write the 3 names at the first instance, while some people said no, they follow APA style. And they maintain the old format of quoting, which means the first author, eta, and the rest. Why? Don't forget, even inside that paper you are quoting, that your academic paper has a reference page. In that reference page, every information is clearly written. Inside your writing, inside your work, you should not make your work so boring in such a way that we are carried away with the names you are putting as a citation more than the ideas you want us to get something from. Because your paper is all about ideas. You are trying to make a contribution to the world. Citation is very important, but make sure that citation does not actually spoil your work. Citation is very important, but it must not spoil your own work. And that is why we were given this kind of format, that you have to simply mention one surname in terms of group, you just put one surname and a tag. The reason, I repeat, is just to make your work neat. Anybody that saw Okafor, a tag, will go to reference and see the entire names, the full names, all the authors, and all their all their titles. So there's no need in your work using citation, the citation or the names of citation to fill in your work in such a way it could be boring. That is the point. I don't know if you guys get it. Ajụjụ ya bụ, ọ bụrụ na ị na-ekwu otu ọtọ nke onye sọsọ ofu onye dere akwụkwọ, sọsọ afa nna ya ka ekwesị ka ị saịtị ya na arọ ọ dela akwụkwọ azụ ya na peji ya, peji nọmba ebe si wee saịtị ya. Then ọ bụrụ na fadị mmadụ ịbụa, ide afa nna fa na abụ, onye nke izi afa nna ya na onye nke ịbụ afa nna ya kwu, wee tinyekwa kọma, wee mee gịnị, wee dee na arọ apublishiri akwụkwọ azụ, kọma, and then the page. Then o wee na-ajụ wee sị, ọ na-abụzialụ mmadụ ịtọ or mmadụ ịnọ or mmadụ ise, because in some cases there are 3 authors, 4 authors, 5 authors, 6 authors. You see why it's very important. So ọ bụrụ na mmadụ ịtọ, mmadụ ịnọ, mmadụ ise, mmadụ isii dere akwụkwọ, kedu ka a ga-esi wee quote? Anyị wee na-ekwu na ọ bụrụ na ị chọrọ ka akwụkwọ gị bụziarị sọsọ afa mmadụ ka a ga-enebezi anya, na ife ị kwesịrị ikwotụrụ anya the first author, ide ife ndị oyibo kpọrọ a tag, meaning and the group and the rest. So na ọ bụrụ na mmadụ ịtọ na ị kwesịrị ikwotu ofu onye, idezie a tag, comma, comma, the page number. I don't know if you guys are here with me. Okay. So do you have a...
Okay. Looking at most people, they mostly cite like websites, like on blogs in their research paper. But apart from on citing them for statistical purpose, like populations or percentage of people that have engaged in a particular product that you are writing about, like outside that context, is it advisable to be citing newspaper or citing website?
Very nice question.
Now, for example, let's say you are doing research about consumers in Thailand, like you want to get research in Bangkok, you can go to population website of Thailand and get the latest statistics and cite it, which is much advisable. But outside statistical analysis, can you just go to Punch newspaper, go and cite that one and put it inside your articles? Is it advisable, sir?
Actually, I am just following APS style. Your question is very, very important. And the question, I repeat, is all about non-academic papers. And then putting non-academic papers inside academic papers. That is what it means. I don't think it is allowed, generally speaking, even though the world is changing very fast. And certain things that are classical are becoming unclassical. Certain things that are constructive are becoming unconstructive. Certain things that are initially cannot be allowed are nowadays allowed. For example, in the past, some people, when you want to write academic paper, you have to move from one country to another looking for books. In fact, in the past, some people, when you are writing an academic article, you have to move from one university to another looking for books. In fact, one of my lecturers told me that when they were writing their own thesis, in fact, having materials, looking for material or materials could be said to be their major problem, not even what they're about to write. But can you say that today? No. Just use your Android phone. Google anything you want. you see a lot of information. So the world is changing actually, and the information is coming in a piecemeal. Information is being received, unlike in the past. But the point remains that academic writing has formats. Academic writing has procedure. Academic writing has the way it must be written. So imagine you putting up an academic writing and then putting on academic sources. Just think about that. Because as an academic, you are expected to be critical minded. You are expected to, your work is supposed to be reliable. Your work is supposed to be credible. So if you are quoting newspaper, which is opinion, anybody can say anything in the newspaper. If you are quoting Wikipedia, which is opinion, anybody can change anything there. Don't you think that you are making your work unreliable and not credible? That is the point. Because you have to go to a credible source. You have to use credible sources. Like he mentioned, you want an information, a standard information of formal information, official information about statistics, about a particular thing you are writing about Thailand. You must have to go to where you will get it. You pay for it to get it. That is why sometimes in academic research, we talk about limitation. We talk about scope. Your limitation could be that you don't have access to credible information. You have to put it there. Your scope could be that so and so time there is no official information about this particular thing you are writing about. So academic writing must be punctuated with a credible, reliable, and acceptable sources. Is a must. Otherwise, it may not be credible. And then your paper might be taken as one of those mundane or trash that could be thrown away. So it's very, very important. However, look at the reference here. Imagine that you copy something online that is already online there, the newspaper or whatever, or any link. Then make sure that you retrieve it, you state where you retrieve it from. You have to copy the link and then put the date, as we said earlier, the date you copied it, the month you copied it, and the year you copied it, because you might go there, you might not see it again. But the most important thing is to make sure that your paper is honest enough. And what does that mean? Honest simply means that these are not your words. These are not yours. If you are quoting newspaper, you have to make sure that you copy where you are quoting it and then critically examine the same newspaper. Critically criticize the same newspaper, because that's why you are an academic. You're not expected to just go and then copy something or what somebody said anyhow to put into your academic work. I don't think is the right thing to do. It will make your academic work not credible. So isiokwu wee bụrụ dịka onye jụrụ ajụ si wee jụ, ọ jụrụ sị, kedu maka newspaper, kedu maka Facebook, kedu maka Instagram, kedu maka social media? Information na-apụtazi na social media karịrị akarị. Onye na-ede academic paper, ọ nọ dịka ife ọ na-ajụ, onye quote ya, onye use ya. Mụnwa wee sị na abụ na follow APA style, APS style, na-ekwesịrị ịga na-eyuzu mmụ asịrị ahụ a na-akụ as a standard information. No. Ekwesịrị ịga na-eyuzu asịrị gbago asịrị gbada na your academic paper, because na ndị ọcha nyere ya ewepụtago ka esi wee na-efolo ya. Na any information ị chọrọ, ọ bụrụ ịchọ information maka Nigerian government, ị gaa na Facebook of someone from the village or someone from the city, whatever he posted in the Facebook, and you now consider it as credible. No. That is the problem we are having even in Nigeria, even in some other African countries. People are no longer basing their information based on credibility. People are now taking information, whichever one they see. Even in a photo, you know, there is a Photoshop. You call it Photoshop, right? People can get anything and make any photo and put there. And you as an academic, you are not expected to follow suit. You're supposed to critically examine, critically look into it before you use it, before you cite it as an evidence, even in the court of law. So, na academic writing abụrụ asịrị maka na asịrị gbakọte ọlarị n'ala. Academic writing kwesịrị na ịdị sure na information ị weta na ọ kwesịrị isi na credible source, ọ kwesịrị isi na ebe ọ kwesịrị isi na information ị na-enye na information a na-efolobi ya ọ bụrụ even in the court of law na ịdị okay because ịdị covered maka na ịnweta information n'ebe kwesịrị. Academic writing ekwesịrị iwere asịrị mmadụ si na Facebook or na social media on Instagram or other social media platform were etinye as a credible source. No. So that is why even in the newspaper you have to criticize, you have to critique before you now take it as a credible source. It is not allowed in academic writing. Ya bụ na onye ọbụla na-ede academic writing, ndị Igbo ndị ọma na-ege m ntị, onye ọbụla na-ede academic writing abụrụ asịrị ka eji ede, ọ bụrụ maka na asịrị na Facebook ọ na-asịrị na Instagram ọ na-asịrị na Twitter ọ na-asịrị na WhatsApp or na-asịrị na any other social media platform. Therefore, you will hear as academic writing. No, that is not acceptable because it's not credible. And your paper kwesịrị ịdị credible. If ị na-ede bụ idesie na onye gụọ anya maa na ife anụnwa na ife kwesịrị. A na-enwe official information, na-enwe unofficial information. A na-enwe formal information, na-enwe informal information. Academic writing is all about official information. It's all about formal information. In a case, informal information, you have to indicate it in your paper that this particular information is coming from so and so place. That is why your methodology is very important. You have to explain all this in your methodology. Onye kpatara na ịbịa na methodology kọwaa etu isi wee nweta information gị, etu isi wee nweta your data or data nke ọbụla akpọrọ ya, etu isi wee nweta all the sources. Na interview nụnwa email, kedu onye email the interview? Onye ahụ email the interview ọ bụ onye kwesịrị ime interview? Ọ bụ onye maara maka that information? You interviewed somebody, but the person you interviewed, is he a credible person? Is it the person rightfully that may have the required information? Or you just interviewed someone for the sake of interview? No, you should interview a rightful person. Just like some of you in CM University, sometimes when you submit your proposal and then you are writing about a Nigeria, about a Nigerian education system, Nigerian political system, or Nigeria, your topic is centered on Nigeria. Then, if you're observant, most of us, most of the lecturers in your department will look for a Nigerian who is a lecturer because he's credible enough to say more. Is presumed to be credible to look into your paper because he is a Nigerian also. He will be able to say certain things without even looking at other things. So, in the same thing applies to you. If you are quoting a particular thing, if you are interviewing somebody, the person you interview must be credible. He must be a rightful person. For example, you are talking about Umuada, who were the people you interviewed. How can you be talking about Umuada, the women in the Igbo society, and then you never interviewed any woman from Igbo society? If you see that your paper is not credible. So the sentence applicable is the sources. The sources of your paper must be credible. That is why we have primary sources and secondary sources. So the question is very, very important in this situation. You must make sure that your sources are right ones and not unreliable and not credible. Okay.
Okay, and when it comes to citations, so modern citation, they will tell you that that if you want to cite, it should not be more than 5 or 6 years. That if you are citing from 2010, 2009, 2011, 2012, 13, it's old already because they need updated research. Now, if you are now writing a new topic and that topic is very scanty on the database, now how do you scale through? Then again, secondly, when you are now dealing with on like methodology, where you need to cite, like if you want to go through quantitative analysis, now you need to cite all these measurement tools, because most of these things are in the 70s, in the 80, in the 90, in the millennium. So how can you handle such a thing?
By the way, the person asking the question is Mr. Dare Oluwa. I forgot that your surname. Dare, what's that your surname? Dare Oluwatobi Adekoya. Correct. He's from Yoruba land. And he has been an active student. And most importantly, he's not an Igbo person, but he's one of those that often follow my YouTube. And then one of those that would listen to it from beginning to end, whether I'm speaking Igbo or not. And then he's the one asking the question, all these questions, and the questions are very important. First of all, this last question is about the year. In some universities and in some places, they limit your quotation to be books published or article published 5 years. Yeah. And then I guess this is a battle between progressive educators and conservative educators. Because, let's, for example, you're talking about African traditional religion, and you are an African, and you want to quote everything about Africa. Definitely, majority of the things might be old, because not many African scholars have written a lot of topics on particular issues about Africa. So if you are submitting, you are expected to submit a paper, academic paper, and you were limited by your department or by your university or any journal for only 5 years, automatically you know that that limitation is actually will not go well with developing countries who may not have gotten enough materials, who may have gotten few materials. You have seen a very nice material, but then you are being limited, you are being told not to quote about that. That, as a matter of fact, is wrong and not acceptable, and not accepted by people like us in academic world, because majority of African topics, majority of African nomenclature, majority of African titles and African ideologies or cosmologies, believe it or not many have written about them. Therefore, if you keep quoting the last 5 years, it means that you are limited. Even when you have seen where the person that have written something, let's say things fall apart. A lot of things written. Imagine if it's not being published over and over again by publishers. Then you are being told not to quote Chinua Achebe, where you have gotten enormous information simply because it is old. That is not those who have that idea, I guess, in my own view, maybe they are not supportive of developing countries, or maybe they are not aware that knowledge could come from anywhere, whether from olden days or from middle or from current. So from my own point of view, that issue alone, that particular regulation alone is not good enough. Okay, having said that, Maybe one of the reasons why they do so is just to promote new ideas, because old ideas are outdated. That might be one of their reasons to promote new ideas. Again, I will not forget progressive educators and constructive educators and conservative educators. The world is moving two parts, liberal and conservatives. The liberals, they believe in freedom of whatever you want to do. Conservative, they are still stuck in a kind of old ways of doing things, and this must be like the dogma, you know. So the same thing is applicable. Who is in charge of a particular journal? Who are the people putting the format in a particular journal? If they are mostly progressive educators, you will see that they accept everything. They will make it very flexible. But if there are other part of people that are very conservative, you will see that they will not like new things to come into it. Because many things said by Socrates is still relevant today. Many things said by Plato is still relevant today. Many things said by Aristotle is still relevant. They are still relevant today. Most of those things cannot be thrown away simply because of new ideas. We can match two of them. So the idea of stopping people, limiting people to 5 years of publication, maybe it depends on the university, maybe it depends on the people in charge of the decision makers in the university, which kind of ideology they hold. But for me, academic ideology should be liberal. People should be free. And quotations should be allowed, whether it is 100 years back. But anyway, we don't have any choice if your university insists in that. So you have to start scavenging, looking at how to obey the rules and the regulation of a university. But for me, as an academic, I don't think it is a good idea. But I know, I understand, because most universities here, they tend to fall into that trap, which I don't think is good enough. It's actually not good enough. Both old ideas, middle ideas, and then new ideas should all match together. And that's what academics should be all about. So kedu na ife anyị na-ekwu maka ya? Anyị na-ekwu maka na onwe nwata akwụkwọ jụrụ ajụjụ wee jụọ wee sị, ọ bụrụ na elimit ya gị na ị na-eme quotation, na quotation gị bụ sọsọ authors or journal or ife ụfọdụ eme last 5 years, kedu ife ị ya eme ma ọ bụrụ na ị fụrụ akwụkwọ? If you don't see quotation, if you don't see new quotation, what are you going to do? Wee na-asị na in the first instance, na ndị na-etinye iwu anwa ọ dịrọ nkafa elute n'onwe Afrịka, n'onwe kọntrị dịka Afrịka, ebe na-edere ife ụfọdụ ede. Ndị dere ede eriro nne, mana kịta na-eribegokwe nne o, mana ndị dere na-eriro nne. So ị bịazie na-achọ ka ị weta quotation, ọ bụrụ na ofu onye dere in 1930, only one person wrote something about African cosmology, about African philosophy, about African religion. Therefore, you are now telling me not to quote the person. So that's what I'm saying, that na ndị na-etinye ụdị iwu abụ na university ọbụla everywhere, maybe they are not aware of the fact that na-enwelu continents na-edebere ife etu o si wee dị kịta. Therefore, ọ bụrụ na efolobe nke ahụ fa kwuru na ọ magburu onwe ya, ọ dịrọ mma, because na ndị gboo na ndị etiti na ndị taa desi mma na academic work. Old ideas, archaic ideas, middle ideas, the current ideas, they are all important in an academic work. But dịka nsi wee za na nsogbu dị mgbe ọ bụ na university gị limit ego, onwe ife ikwesịrị ime, you have to follow ife university na-ekwu, malụ ka ị ga-esi wee find your way, malụ ka ị ga-esi wee chọba, maka na maybe na university chọrọ new ideas, mana bụrụ n'uche na university tili ụdị iwu anwa ọmagburu onwe ya, maka na gịnị? Na amamife dị ma nke nna 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 anyị fa, inu niile anwa fatu ọ ka dị mkpa lue taa. Amamife sokwu na ndị etiti, amamife sokwu na ndị amụtara ọfụ ọgbaligbo, ndị ebe a na-afịagharị na social media, fancha dịsị mkpa. Anyị achịkọtasị fancha, ọ ife niile aka abịa n'afa, ene anya na your methodology, you will be able to talk about them in your methodology. That your primary source or your secondary source is archaic, but is still relevant in today's situation. You can also emerge it and say it in your methodology that middle contributors, middle scholars, what they argued, they are also very important. You have to mention it in your methodology. Then you have to accept the fact that this is a digital era. This is a current internet age. This is a social media age where information is no longer archaic as it should be. All these things they are all very important because in Africa, as we say, I am because we are. If we are not, I will not be. Why am I here? Because our parents, they were there, and that's why we are here today. So that is why Ojidempa, that now all the old archaic or whichever one you call it, a book written in 1930 is as important as a book written in 2000. It's also as important as a book written in 2024. But academic writing should be to look into it and critically look at the gap. And that is the gap is a new idea we are talking about. But to limit people based on 5 years publication, I don't think as an academic myself, I would support that position. But at the same time, as a student, you have no choice but to follow what your university would like you to do. Eji m n'aka na anyị na-adaba. So ị na-anya ife ndị efe ka quotation etu esi eme ma ọ bụrụ na ịchọpụta ife na online. In the list of your reference, you have to give the full address of the website and the date when you searched or download the site. Very, very important. In case there's no name, put the date or put the link. In case there's no date, put the link and put the date you yourself got it. Ọ magburu onwe ya. Bulifezilezi. Mgbe m kwuru okwu maka bibliography, references. All resources used in the work must appear in the list of reference. Ife niile quote na your work, everything you quoted in your work must appear in your reference, otherwise called bibliography. The sources have to be listed in alphabetical order of the surname of the authors. For every source, the following data are necessary. Okay, now, look at it here. First of all, don't forget. A, B, C, D, E, F. That is how you begin to author whose name starts with A. Then, if you finish all the people you quoted whose name started with A, then go to B. From B, go to C. From C, go to D. Because this is reference. In the reference page, every information about author must be there. Because you must have used, just like the question I asked before, Ngozi. 2 Ngozis must have written a book in the same year. It is in this reference and bibliography that we'll be able to know which particular Ngozi. Therefore, bibliography must put everything about the author. Okay, now look at the format. How do you put it? The name, the surname, comma, first name, or other names of the author follow. Then full stop. Then the year of publication, in bracket, full stop. Title of the book or the article, italic, bending. Then place of publication. Then, that is semicolon, right? Publisher, full stop. You see that? You have to look at the example given there. Kalembach, comma, Ernest. Then full stop. In bracket, 1975, full stop. The title of his work, look at it. Ecotopia, full stop. Then, which publisher? New York. You see that? So this is how it must be. And if you follow this APA style, it must be in the same way across all your references. You cannot use one particular style and then switch into another style. No. I don't know if you guys are there. Are you getting the point here? I hope you are there. Look at it very well. Emmanuel Nweke Okafor. My surname is what? Okafor. What follows after Okafor? Huh? There's something else followed before Emmanuel. Okafor, comma, yes. Then what next? Emmanuel Nweke, what next? Full stop. Then what next? My publication is 2008. Okay, 2008, bracket, what next? Full stop. You must follow everything, nothing is left. Nothing must be left behind. Then, what's my title? Then the title of my publication. Then what follows after the title? Full stop. Where did I publish it? Thailand. Bangkok. Full stop. That is it. This should be in bibliography. This should be in your reference. I believe that we will look into it in more detail individually. Look at it, an example of one author. Desmond, comma, William, comma, page, year in parentheses, full stop. Title of the book, Philosophies of Religion. Marcel Gaspar's Levianas. And Richard Kenny edition. These are complicated aspects of it. We will talk about it later, because when you are quoting edited work, this is how you put it. And this, the way it must be in your reference. Remember, we are in reference now. Okay. Example of two authors. You see that? Surname, comma, first name of the author, year of publication, title, the place of publication, publisher. This is an example of one author. Example of one editor. This is the way it is written. Then, what about the situation of two editors? Look at it. Are you guys seeing it? Huh? Two editors. These are, I'm afraid, you have no choice. I think, Dare, you have written a lot of articles already. I'm sure you went through all this. When you write an academic article or thesis or independent studies, then you know that it's not easy. It's just like mathematics. Everything must be where it should be, and nothing should be left behind. Example of reference from journal. Maybe you got information from journal. Do you see that? After the name of the person, the year, the primacy of ethics, Hobbes and Levianas, then continental philosophy. Journal is different thing altogether. So if you're talking about book, you're talking about edited work, and then journal, they change. You must look at APS style very, very critically. Whenever you see a journal, then you look at the journal, look at the publish, where they publish information about the author, and then you start to put it. Then if it's in a journal, you look at the journal, go and look clearly, and then put it in order it should be. Are you okay with that? Then an example of reference from a translated book. These are areas after your workload. After attending classes, this is where the real job is. Is that okay? An example of reference from a translated book. Then, an example of reference from articles in encyclopedias if the author of that specific article is not mentioned. You see that? Sometimes it's not attending classes is one thing, but during the time for academic work, then you must sit up and get these things done. Okay. For references from the internet, you must give the exact address of the website where you got their work and the date you searched or downloaded from the website. Look at it. This is what all of us are into in this modern time. Any information from the website, the name, the year as it is on wall, retrieved from, you put the link. What date do you retrieve it? That is on January 1st, 2023, this particular one. Hello? Are you guys there? This is very, very important, this particular one. From internet. An example reference from Buddhist original text is for Buddhas. Okay, page setup. Remember A4, Time New Roman, font, size 12. Always remember A4 paper, Times New Roman, start all your classroom 10 paper and independent studies. Each time you submit it, always remember Times New Roman. And font size must be 12. Then line spacing, double. In the main work, you are right, double. But use single space for separated block quotations. Can you remember what I said about single space when we are talking about quotation with more sentences? Your main work is double space. Excuse me. But when you are now quoting more than 3 lines, then it is the single space. I will still give an example other days to buttress the point. All margins 3 cm. Insert page number at the top of the right. Top of the right. These are technicalities. That is why we always advise you to, starting from your 10 paper, to follow the right format. Double spacing, your main body of work. Then if you are quoting more than 3 lines, create single space. Remember, we have said much about plagiarism. The case of plagiarism. Quotations are not indicated as such. A case of plagiarism, when you do not put quotation, merely the source is mentioned. Some of us are very smart, try to mention the source, but quotation marks were not used in the same passages. Utilization of the ideas, concept of other author without quoting or even mentioning the author. These are games some students play, is not allowed. How to avoid plagiarism, as we said. If you use 3 or more words in the same word as an author, use a source, because it's now plagiarism. You must quote. Use quotation marks, inverted comma, open and close. If you use the ideas, concept of the author, you use as a source. You must indicate the source. Consequences of plagiarism. We all know that. In case of plagiarism, your work must be rejected. In case you'll be reported to the faculty, which has to decide on further procedure. Severe cases of intended plagiarism led to the dismissal of a student from a university. So, avoid it. So this is today's class. Igbo ndị ọma na-ege ntị, ekelekwa m unu eluzikwana na ife anyị na-ekwu maka ya bụ format. Ọ bụrụ na ị na-ekwu maka ị na-ede ife, iwelu A4 times New Roman and then 12 size, double spacing. Mana ọ bụrụ na ikwu otu eti single spacing. Anyị na-asụ oyibo maka na omeleji omelecha na achọrọ m ka anyị wodo onwe anyị. Ụdị ọbụla ọ sịkwa ya bụrụ, English ga-ejide ya. Ụdị ọbụla, no matter how we use Igbo to explain it, you still write it in English. So we are just merging the two languages. Maka na ya chọrọ ka ụmụaka anyị ma ndị na-agụ akwụkwọ ma ndị chọrọ isi na our research, Igbo research methodology amụta ife ụfọdụ lozo na onye eliri eli bụ onye eliri eli, na-eligo anyị bụ na-eligo anyị, English ka eji ede. Ya bụ na anyị na-ekwukwe were English na-akọwa, were Igbo na-akọwa nke anyị nwere ike, ọbụla anyị nwere ike. So gị ma ọ dị nke nwere ajụjụ. Jụkwa ya n'Igbo na Abia steeti ka ndị Abia steeti wee na-aghọtakwa ebe anyị na-akọ. Ụwa ndụ Imo steeti karajụ ajụjụ sinsi ya.
Ọ ga-ajụ. Enwere m ofe ajụjụ, ofe mkpụrụ ajụjụ. So otu mkpụrụ ajụjụ nwere mbụ la mgbe a dịrị ekwu okwu quotation and citation. Ọ dị ihe m chọrọ ịghọta because enye gị academic research or if you want to conduct a research, ya bụrụ that the information you are seeking for example, ị chọrọ ide why this person is not paying salary as when due. So you need to matter the exact information. But again, ọ ga-adị gị difficult ịbịa jụọ the person why is now put the salary as of that time. So maybe you want to go through someone who is closer to the person. Then the person you might try to get the information might be his or her PA, which works directly with him, that knows everything he is doing. Though the person might reject, but because of friendship issue, the person might decide to say, okay, let me give you the information, though you will pay me, but you have to hide my identity, or you have to protect my job. Because if this person knows, I will tell you, I'm the person who told you this, it will cost me my job. So how will you be able to protect the interests of that person and still use the information you got? So,
Yeah, I think anyway, informant. Actually, the best way for me is to put it in your methodology. To identify exactly what you're saying in your methodology. If it is in the form of interview, sometimes they have a hidden part of it. You cannot disclose every information. There's what they call debriefing as well. So I think the basic thing here is that exactly this question you ask is very, very important, and most scholars, they miss it. Because part of the ethics, because research has its own ethics, it has its own moral grounds as well. You must protect the source if the source will be in danger. But then in your methodology, you have to state it. You have to make it very clear that the source of your information is being covered. You can mask it. You can unmask. So it's very simple in the research, depending on, are you using quantitative methodology, or are you using qualitative, or are you using mixed method? Which kind of method? So in your own expressed definition, expression of how your research is going to handle, that is why you put it. Ajụjụ ga-amaka na onye isi na ịchọ inweta information, and information a ịchọ inweta, onye ya enye gị information ahụ na-atụ egwu maka ọgụ ya, na-atụ egwu maka achụ anya n'ọlụ, na-atụ egwu maka gị na ebe o si enweta salary ya, ọ bụ na ọ ya enwetazi. That is why o ji wee bụ na researchers na-enwe ethics, na-enwe procedure, na-enwe tactics, na-enwe methodology. Because in that your methodology will be able to solve that particular concern. Because once you reveal the information, ọ bụrụ na ikwu ife anụnwa, onye ewewele chụọ mmadụ n'ọrụ ifro na your paper akọsgo problem. So n'anya ka o ji wee mee nye ndị ọcha nwere ife a nwesịrị idea wee tinye ife a na-akpọ methodology, wee tinye ife a na-akpọ limitation, wee tinye ife a na-akpọ scope, so that you will be able to explain in detail what method you have used and why you used it. It might be in your limitation. You might say in your limitation that this paper is, you are limiting your expression of how you got this, how you got that, because you don't want to expose your informant. You don't want to expose the person that gave information. So now even in an no methodology you are using, then you're okay with that, in my own view. Because research methodology is very critical. The world is better off today because of research. Education is better off today because of research. Communities and societies and a lot of people, a lot of countries are better off today because of research. And research has its own rules and regulations. And most importantly, to make sure you protect. Let's say you are doing about animal. You are bound to protect the life of that animal. In a case where the life of animal will be in danger, you must explain. The same thing is applicable. A person giving you information is a PA, the particular governmental officer or a particular office. Then you have to protect the PA as well. And when you are putting up your research, it must be clearly indicated. This is the way I think I can handle it. Wando from Imo State. So ala na anyị Imo nke o wee dị ka a na-eme. Ka onye mara Imo adị iche ọwara adị iche. Okay. So kedu ajụ inwe ihe asụ Imo State ka o wee dịkwa ka onye ọzọ n'ebe a nọ. Ndị ọzọ bụ ndị Anambra. Asụkwa m Anambra, especially Oyi Local Government Area, mana nwekwa other local government na-asụkwa iche iche. So Wando, kedu ajụjụ gị from Imo State? Sụọla anyị Imo. Okay, ka m jụọ gị ma ọ bụ na ị nwere kedu ife ịghọta maka reference? Ka ebe ịghọta na reference a na-ekwu maka ya. The mic ọ dịkwa on? Green. Iwe kedebe ebe a na-ekwu n'idiri iji ya n'aka. So ka ebe ịghọtala. I hope our system is still on. So Wando from Imo State or where? Agbanyekwana microphone agbanyu. So ka ebe ịghọta maka reference. We are waiting for you, please. PDF, we will put the Ochavazia green. PDF for a long time. Okay, so one look every maka reference. Every asukwa be Imo State, as Panala Yoibo. Or where and governor, provided is from that state. Ongwa Swanke came. Swan came and I water. Reference ya kan joge say ka ife water maka. Hold it, and then is it coming out green? Okay. Maybe you can keep it there, it doesn't matter.
Okay, if I'm water on a reference once before I'll give them a reference, First thing ga-adị ebe ahụ wụ surname onye reference ga-work ya. Then after the surname, gị nwee comma, then year of publication, which will be in brackets. Then gị nwee ya
Full
wụ
stop.
full stop. Then page ịkọpị ga reference ga, because na book enwere
Ị
many
na-ekwu maka citation ka ị na-ekwu maka reference page.
citation.
Okay, citation, okay.
Then enwere many pages. So ị ga-akọwa page ishi na-akọpụta ihe ichere reference. Then ya wụrụ na the thing will include in 2 pages. Gị dee pp ịkọwa na ọnụ in 2 pages. Then dee the 2 pages or more than 2 pages ịkọpịga from. Ihe m nwere ike ikwu.
Okay, kwugodi ife ikwu maka citation again. Esi na citation bụ
First thing ị ga-ede ebe ahụ wụ surname. Surname onye ị na-copy from in your own work. Then comma. Then year of publication. Ịkọwa year onye ahụ dere the akwụkwọ. Then enwee another comma. Then gị dee page ịkọpịga from, because in a book enwere so many pages. Ị ga-akọwa page ishi na-akọpụta ihe ahụ, mana onye fụrụ ihe reference ga, ọ ga-adịrịla ya easy ịga na the book nweta ihe ikwu gị na page ebe ịkọpụtara the thing. Ya wụrụ ọnụ o may include in 2 or more than 2 pages. Gị dee pp. If it's only in 1 page, gị dee p and the number of the page ishi akọpụtaga ya. Thank you.
Okay. So etu a Igbo ịmara ya asụtaba Imo State. Enwe ya azụmala anyị edo. Okay. Dere, how are we doing with time? How many? Huh? Very good.
Okay. Na mbụ m na-ekene gị our prọfesọ maka na nchepụta nke anyị chepụta wee sị ka ị na-agbalị ile anyị nkụzi a ife anyị kwesịrị mma n'asụsụ obodo anyị na asụsụ eji wee mụọ anyị, nke pụta na asụsụ eji mụọ anyị ka dị ndụ. Ịma na ọtụtụ ndị mmadụ today amazi asụsụ eji wee mụọ anyị. Ife anyị na-asụzi bụ asụsụ ndị oyibo kụziri anyị. Iji kwuo na be anyị kịta ịfụ na ụmụaka anyị mụrụ na ejụọ nwatakịrị kee ka ime ọsụbalụ gị oyibo. Ejụọ nwatakịrị kedu afa gị ọsụbalụ gị oyibo. Echefu m ikwu afa mbụ Chinedu Francis Junior onye na-eme m. Ọ dị possible to me mmewepụsị afa oyibo na-aza nke Igbo, maka na ife anyị kwesịrị ịdị na-aza afa Igbo anyị. English name is borrowed the name and English is borrowed language, it's not our language. So ana m ekele gị ebe ọ dị ukwuu, maka na ọ dịghị izi ịtụgharị ife ndị anyị na-ekuzi n'Igbo. So and ife ndị anyị na-ekuzi amụta m ọtụtụ ife n'ime ya. Ịbịa n'ọnọdụ the reference, before ọ na-abụ nchọ ime reference nje kọpịrị n'ebe edebe tinye name and year adị na ya. Mana kịta n'ụbọchị tata aghọtara m nke ọma na ịchọghị m ife akpọ reference, reference ife ahụ ide igosi ndị mmadụ ebe isi wee wetasị ife ndị anwa niile itiri na akwụkwọ anwa nke idelụ. Ihe were afa ndị derie tinye na ihe afọ ederie. Ịma biko na-asụkwa oyibo asụsụ oyibo abago anyị ọnụ. So ihe akọpụsị ife ndị a na-etinye ka ndị ya agụ wee malụ ebe iweta nke iweta. Ife ọzọkwa mmụtakwa ọzọ bụ ife gbasara na citation. Ịchọọ ide peji ebe ipigitecha ife ndị itilu peji ndị anwa, ọ bụ na iweta dịka na iweta na page 1, page 2, page 3, Ebian inside ya denye PP tinyezie the number no PP3 ajụ nchọbụ ka njọ before mana onye ajụ ya because na ọ bụrụ na ajụ anwa ọ bụrụ na m nweta ife ndelu na peji ịtọ mmede P.P ịtọ dị the number mana today ka m ghọtara nke ọma that na ife m niile itinye aba anwa bụ P ịbụa dezie ital ọ bụrụ na ndị dee dị akwụkwọ kali 3 kali 2 then ntinye afa ha tinye afa onye nke and afa m etinye afa nnafa nke anyị na-akpọ surname ntinye afa nnafa tinye afa nna onye then ntinyezi ebe na-akpọ ital that is and the rest iji wee gosi na fa kali mmadụ ịtọ dere akwụkwọ anwa ka o wee kwe wee na-aghọta ka ndị na-abịa ka o wee kwekwa wee megide ghọta ya ọfụma. So in summary, I am very happy for everything because, to be sincere to you, sir, even if when I started this journey, it wasn't easy for me, and I was like, "Can I make this?" But let me tell you the truth, sir. You made things to be easy for me in this school. In this same university. Other classes, if I'm not serious on it, whenever I have your class, I'm much more than serious, and you yourself will affirm it because there are some assignments you give to us. I will go sleepless night to make sure that I will do it correctly because I know what it means and I know what you want and I know what you need. So I thank you very, very much, and especially when I pray that the Almighty God will help you, whatever be your desire, whatever be the goals you are targeting, you must get it. You must get there. You must fulfill your academic desires and the expectation, so that in time to come, your name will be heard. And I know for sure that your name will be heard. The people, like I told you, that all your labor shall not be in vain. Mark my word. Our children will remember you, sir. You have done a great job and you are still doing it. And I pray continue to do that. You are blessed, sir. Pardon?
Actually, I'm very happy. Automotor, the way you are speaking Igbo. Makana, as a matter of fact, this is supposed to be, I'm supposed to use Igbo in everything, but whether we like it or not, English has come to stay. And it is just like not telling ourselves the truth. If I keep everything speaking Igbo in such a way, because all the Igbo students I'm targeting, they will still write it in English. So I'm very happy when you were speaking. When you are speaking, you are using Igbo, so that it will now feed in areas that I didn't use Igbo to talk. Do you have the microphone there? Is this still on?
Okay, my suggestion, sir, because I know that many people cannot understand Igbo language. Why not, after you finish all the topics in a mixed Igbo and English, then you can now start again with English throughout, so that for other people from other countries and they know.
Yeah, I'm intending to have a different YouTube for English.
Okay.
Completely English, no Igbo.
Okay. If possible, this one you are teaching in Igbo, then use complete Igbo on it. Then when you...
Yeah, because I try to use complete, but you know, just as I say, even myself sometimes. Even myself sometimes. Because the reality is that all Igbos who are students, they will still use it English to write it. My attention is to make sure we understand the basic. Use Igbo to explain the basic, while also not running away from English, because it will make it difficult for them. I noticed that it will be very, very difficult for our Igbo people also, because they are not writing it in Igbo language. Yes, they are writing in English. They are following APS style. Yes, they are following the Chicago style, or whichever style they are using. Therefore, my target is to use the two languages so that they will get to understand the real thing. So my happiness is that in your expression, you use mostly Igbo, right, and that have enabled me. How about you, Mr. Kafo? So that you can use Igbo.
Tantamount to what Prof said.
Is the micro on?
Tantamount to what Prof said. I think those Igbo words, they can be translated maybe ebe ahụ eji Igbo kwuo. O nwere ike de.
But what is the essence of translating? But what's the essence of translating? The problem is that what's the essence of translating when the students are still using English to write? My main mission is to understand the concept. Just to technical, what do you mean by this citation? Look at what it means. Quotation, look at what it means as much as we can. Because at the end of the day, if I begin to use A, B, C, D, you find out that the students will be automatically be excluded from learning, facing the reality. Students from ABSU, you call it ABSU, right?
Yes, sir.
They are writing it in English and not in Igbo. But the point is that my mission is that they don't understand the concepts. That some, not they, I mean some, don't understand the concepts. Even myself, I don't understand some of the concepts. I'm still learning as well. And I believe all of us here are also learning. But when we now use Igbo, in trying to explain it as much as we can, just opposing it with English so that it will not be a strange thing. I believe that is why I'm calling on other professors and other lecturers and other Igbo teachers to start using, because they are in Igbo land, to start using the correct words, to come out and start challenging the status quo and trying to use the correct Igbo words. This one I'm doing is actually a kind of a clarion call, just like a call, just like awakening, trying to bring that awareness to the people concerned that we're supposed to be doing this. And I know that some people are doing it already. I know that some people also have been into advocating this Igbo language stuff ever before I even come into it. But I'm just joining them in this way. So, but joining them, my intention is not to write citations and then I write citation in Igbo. My mission is not to write quotation and then write it, but my mission is to use the same English word as much as possible alongside Igbo, using Igbo to understand it. That is my mission. I believe that as I move on, I will start to implement them. Because right now, I am not implementing most of those things. I try to, sometimes I get carried away with English. And when I get carried away with English explanation, I'm not worried because the students I have in mind, they will write it in English. But I also try to use Igbos to try to explain as much as I can. That's actually my main mission. I believe that other professors, lecturers, Igbo teachers will exactly start implementing exactly what we intend doing by using the correct words in Igbo. Okay, so Ezechukwu, do you have anything to put at least in Igbo way? Do you still remember your Igbo language? Huh? Nothing to add, are you sure? Okafor. Okafor, give Okafor microphone. He has something to. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Okay, give him a microphone. I would like to ask him a question. Okay, Okafor. Why do you think it's important? Why is it important? Can you use citations and quotations? Why do we have to use citations and quotations?
It's important we use citations and quotations so that when our research work are being written, every reader, when going through those work, would see the need that the researcher gets his work from somewhere, gets the ideas that his or her work is being shared from somewhere to other people, so that also when that particular research is also being looked into, other researchers can also quote you by that research work that is being presented.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you say what you said now in Igbo, please? Oh, but I see, can I have that? What you just said now, can you say it in Igbo? You see how we are getting lost on daily basis? No,
Hey,
you have to
you
say
go.
it in Igbo. Please, please, don't waste our time. Tell us, Igbo and Igbo. Bụrụ onye Anambra, kọwara anyị ife anyị kwụ kịta n'asụsụ Igbo. Ezechukwu, I'm coming back to you.
I don't finish.
O nwere ife ọ kọwara, nsị anya kọwara m ya, anya translate zie n'Igbo. Quick. I will say, no.
No, I finished, sir.
No, in Igbo. You spoke in English. Summarize it in Igbo. Before Papa gave us, summarize it in Igbo. Only Igbo cable. Always remember. Only Igbo cable. Summarize it in quick.
Wow. I don't know deep one. I'm like,
No, just say the one. Two of this water and answer.
yeah, no, that's what, no.
Two of this water and answer. Are they okay? Oh, yeah, quick. Niyako wifa n'Igbo.
Mba.
Hello, man. Ndidi, ọ bụ na ebe anyị na-ekwu. Mba, nyanwa, ọ bụrụ ajụjụ, nyanwa zara ajụjụ njụ. Ife why citation and quotation ji wee dị mkpa. Ọ zatara ya ọfụma n'oyibo. Wee chọọ ka ife ọ sụ n'oyibo ka ọ sụgharị m ya n'Igbo. Maka na onye Igbo ka ọ bụ. Ọ sị na ọ ya asụnwuru. Ezechukwu. Oya, over to you. Why do you think citations and quotations are important in the research work? Kedu ife kpatalụ ide ife mmadụ kwuru, idebere okwu mmadụ kwuru ka o si wee kwu ya, ọkwa otu etu abụ mmadụ si wee kwu ya jide mkpa na research?
Okay, ife dị na ya bụ na
Ihe edebe the microphone na maka enwe ike itinye n'ọnụ ọda gbugbugbugbu when we are talking about it.
okay, ife dị na ya bụ na ife ọbụla mmadụ na-ede o nwee ebe onye a si ede ya. Okay, ị na-eme your research. Okay, research ọbụla ị na-eme nwere foundation isi eme the research, and foundation a bụ na-esi na nke ndị mmadụ dego. Or from nke ndị mmadụ dego ka ị ga-esi develop your own original work. So while you are developing your original work, ị ga-need ka onye na-agụ ife ị na-ede malụ na ọ nwekwala ebe isi develop this work, and ị na-ede ị need cite maọbụ ikwu otu ebe isi ewepụta ya, so that onye agụkwa nke gị o mekikwa reference to ebe isi weta ya, compare ya, ọ chọkwa idevelop nke ya, o sikwa ebe a wee develop kwa nke ya. Ifu na ọ ga na-atọ ụtọ, ọ ma dị boring, because your own knowledge alone nwere ike ịdị boring while reading. Mana different views, different opinions with citations and quotations and references ga-enye onye na-agụ ya aka ị na-ama, okay, look at the point of view na ebe nke a si na ebe nke a si, onye lukwu onye aka idevelop kwa nke ife a na-agụ a na-atọ ụtọ and enwe more interest. That's my opinion on it.
Very good. Daalụ.
Thank you.
Onye Igbo ka ebu. Onye Igbo ka ebu. Ndị a mụrụ na Abuja, ndị a mụrụ na Lagos, eto na Lagos, ndị a mụrụ na Abuja, eto na Abuja. Onye Igbo ka ebu. Okay, onwe onye ọzọ nwere ajụjụ? Onwe any other question? All right, let's get back to the summary of the entire work today. Okay.
What of if you are like you want to cite two citations together, different authors? Maybe the line you quoted is related to, like, look similar to that author. Let's say I want to cite Chidi's journal, and I want to cite Chinedu journal. So maybe Chidi is 2017. Then Chinedu is 2020. Now, should I cite it based on the year, like the 2018 first, then followed by the 2020?
No, citation is based on your logic, the logic of your argument. When you are writing in your paper, the way you are arguing determines who you put to support what you are saying. Whether you wrote in 1910 or whether you wrote in 2004 doesn't really count, because you are the one citing and then you are the one arguing. So at a particular time, you needed this person's work to support what you are saying. At another time, you need this other person's work to support what you are saying. So the logistic depends on you. Ife ọ jụrụ bụ ọ na-asaịtị mmadụ ịbụọ, kedu onye ọ ebu ụzọ saịtị? Azịza m wee bụrụ na o nwere onye a na-ebu ụzọ saịtị iche. O dipendị ka nyenwa na-ede ife na ife ọ na-ede na etu o si akọwa ife ọ na-ede. O nwere ike onye ọ na-akọwa ife ọ na ebe onye ọ na-edili abụrụ onye bụ ụzọ de ka ọ na-edili ife ọ de ka ọ wee kọwaa ife ọ na-ede. O nwere ike onye nke bụ abụrụ afta ka ọ kọwasị onye izizi ma ọ bụ onye nke ịtọ. O dipendị. The most important thing is when you are citing someone, if any determine citation, but your argument. What determines who you are citing is the flow of your argument, what you are talking about. In your paper, it doesn't matter when the year doesn't count, the year of the book doesn't count, the year of the person you are citing doesn't count. What matters is your own argument. The way you are marshalling your argument, the way your argument is flowing, that is what determines who you want to put in order to support. For example, now, I'm talking about Biafra. And then I'm talking about Biafra during the Civil War. Definitely, I will cite Ojukwu first to support that. But along the side, in 2000 or 2009 or whatever, I may be talking about something. I may also cite Owazulike. I may also cite Ojukwu, at the same time cite Owazulike. Then in this current time, from 2013, it does not prevent me from citing Ojukwu again. It does not prevent me from citing repeating Owazulike. But the point is that whichever argument I make, only need the boy cite. It does not matter the time, the year. I don't know if you get it. Okay, now let's look at the pastor today. Look at the format of your work. Did you submit your own? Okay, submitted late because I've downloaded this one. And Okafor, did you submit your own?
Yes.
I'm sure you didn't submit because I didn't see your work in my email. Smith, I saw your own. Okay, now look at just as what we are saying. Look at this work. First of all, there is a justification. Justification, the way you just here. Look at. You see this place? Are you see my? So if you finish, you have to make sure your work is justified. Then again, there is an evidence of paragraphing. Paragraphing, I can see it there. And I can also see quotation. Then see the methodology. Look at the way he put up his methodology. 1.2. But then, are you there, Pastor? This should be, you are into 1.2, right?
Yes.
This should be 1.2.1. Because you are under this. Hello, guys. Smith, are you there? He is under 1.2. So you don't need to say one. No. You should follow the mother, whatever. 1.2.1. Then this one will be what? 1.2.2. You see that? Then this one is 1.3. But then, Pastor, remember, 1.3 literature review, we are expected to see the literature you reviewed and not to teach us about literature review. Others, are you getting the point? We are expected to see the literature you reviewed and not to lecture us about literature. Yeah, that's what's supposed to be there. Because this is the work you are submitting right now. So what you're supposed to do is not to teach us about literature. I hope you didn't teach us about background. Hey, hold it there. I hope you didn't teach us about background and significance. Background and significance of study, you are telling us, you are launching us into why you wrote what you wrote. What motivated you to write about combating human trafficking in Nigeria? That is background and significance of study. And the background, something must have spurred you, something must have motivated you. So that is the background. Then in that thing that motivated you, there is a need, you are telling us the need, the significance of that. So much so that your paper, if we don't listen to your paper, we'll be in trouble. Nigeria will be in trouble because your paper is very, very important. It's very, very significant in this modern time. So that is background and significance of study. Then, now, methodology. You are telling us that your research design, that is how you design this work you are going to write. That's what it means here. And that design, you should be able to design it to look at it. You said this study will adopt quantitative research method. Very good. This approach will facilitate a comprehensive understanding of strategies for combating human trafficking in Nigeria by capturing both statistical data and in-depth personal experiences. It sounds wonderful in this your design. Yeah, it means that you got the idea very well. You are telling us that the design of your work is what? First of all, quantitative, and then using statistic data. In other words, you are telling us that there is something like interview by depth personal experiences. But remember, quantitative could hook you if you are not careful. Then, data collection method. Look at, the researcher will target the population of victims of human trafficking. Wow, this is wonderful. It means that you've understood this idea of methodology. Okay, so literature, but you don't understand the idea of literature review. We're supposed to also see the literature you used. I think some of them is in the reference I saw. We're supposed to tell us either 2 or 3 of them you used and the theory that you are adopting from that. That is literature review. Okay, limitation of study. The study is limited to combating human trafficking. Yeah, the limitation is that you are concentrated only on human trafficking in Nigeria, not in Africa, but in Nigeria. Okay. However, listen, everybody, listen, this is important. However, one of the primary limitations of this study is the challenge in assessing and gaining the trust of human trafficking victims. This is perfect. Because you cannot get, sometimes they cannot give you information. Because many victims are often traumatized, fearful, and wary of authorities and researchers, making them reluctant to participate in survey or interview. Guys, are you there? This is a wonderful paper. What is that? Don't be afraid. I'm a human being. I can talk and still be eating. I beg. As if you know that I'm. Thank you very much. I think we'll have to stop here for the day because I think the microphone is no longer on. It's tired. Okay, so we are done for today because the mic is. Yeah, are you sure the mic is even on there? Okay, but this one is not on again. So we stop it. Huh?